What's going on, guys? I hope you're all very well. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about how to start teaching your dog to walk nicely on a loose lead, where to start, and when to progress into moving into different areas. Because today what I'm doing is I'm starting from scratch with Olive, who is a German Shorthair Pointer. She is 11 months old. She pulls very hard, and she is a little bit reactive to other dogs as well. So the first place that I'm going to start is on her loose lead walking, of course, because that's where we start with any issues that we're having outside on a lead. It always starts on the loose lead walk. And what I'm doing today is I'm doing exactly what I would advise you to do, which is to go to a very quiet place and start very simple. I'm going to talk to you about the duration of time that you want to spend doing this, what to look out for, what you're actually doing, what you're trying to teach, what to reward, and also when to progress. So that's what we're going to work on right now. Olive's getting a little bit fed up of standing still, so let's get straight into it. I've come to my local playing field, and I'm actually not on the playing field. As you can see, I'm in the car park, and this is something that I would recommend that you do as well. If you haven't got a large garden, or you haven't got a driveway, or you just haven't got a lot of space, this is what you want to do. You want to go to your local park and you want to spend time in the car park. I'm not going to go onto the playing field because on the grass there's going to be lots of smells. There is dogs running around over there. There's two boys playing football, and there's a little bit too much distraction. So what I'm going to be doing is I want her to be nice and focused on me. She's got a really great food drive, and I'm just using that right now, but it's best for me to do it on this really boring surface of the car park because there's not too many smells, there's not too many interesting things to sort of distract her from what we're doing, and it's nice. It's a nice amount of space for us to do it in. So yeah, this is where I'd recommend that you start, is going to your local park and actually spending time in the car park. If you've got a park that's got like a football cage or a basketball cage, do it in there as well. That's also a good place. Nice boring surface for the dog to work on. That's your best place to start. Another thing that you can see here is that Olive is extremely food motivated. She is 11 months old, and this is what I would expect from such a young dog, is such a high food drive. This is just her normal kibble. This is her everyday, day-to-day kibble. Now, if you have a dog that's extremely motivated by food, it is going to make this process so much easier. If you have a dog that isn't motivated by food, to be honest with you, that is another video. But to make a long story short, what you have to do is stop feeding your dog from a bowl, feed your dog by hand, and only give your dog opportunities to eat during training. You probably will get a little bit worried because there's going to be times when they're going to refuse food. Maybe they're going to lose a little bit of weight. Maybe they haven't eaten for a day or maybe longer. But you have to be really persistent and you have to be really strict on that. And eventually, in most cases, the dog is going to take food, and you just slowly build and build on that food drive. And then you will have a dog that is as food motivated as Olive is. Good girl. So the absolute first thing that you want to do is you want to just not really worry too much about where the dog is in sort of relation to you. So you're not really trying to get the position nailed in right now. Depending on where you're at, you're just going to be moving backwards most of the time, and you're just trying to feed the dog for getting into the position that you want them to get into. So my hands are a little bit gross now, but what you want to get into the habit of is holding your food under your thumb like this. So that way your dog can just about sniff a little bit of food, and you can just release each little bit of food one piece at a time by just flicking your thumb outwards. So that's how you want to hold your food. So here I've got about 5 pieces in my hand, and I'm just sort of pinning it under my thumb, and I'm just using my hand to guide her into the position that I want her to be in. And then I'm holding the food now in my hand, and I'm just giving her one piece there, one piece there, and I'm just slowly but surely just Pez dispensing the food out to her so that she is staying in the position. So when you're teaching your dog to walk nicely on a loose lead, the first thing that you want to do is you want to really start to shape, and this is what this is called. This is shaping the position, because all loose lead walking is, or all heel is it's teaching the dog a position to be in. So think of it much like when you're teaching your dog to sit or to lay down. You're teaching them a position, and often you're using food to manipulate the dog's body to go into that position. So if you're doing a sit, you're going to do this with your hands, where you're going to raise your hands up and they'll naturally sit. If you're doing a down, you would naturally make the food go down, and they would usually go into a down. Maybe Olive doesn't know that, but that's how you would do it. And it's the exact same process with a heel, is you're using the food to manipulate the dog's body into the position of heel by your side, and then you administer the food when they get there. If you have a dog that's really pulling and they're flying to the end of the lead, what you want to do is you want to hold your handle. I mean, she's not really doing it right now because she's so focused on me, but what you will want to be doing is let them go to the end of the lead, and as they ping to the end of the lead, you're just going to turn, give them a little tap on the lead. That was a good example. And as they come back to you and as they follow that pressure back to you, you want to reward. If your dog is really not coping very well with staying by your side, what I would recommend you do a lot of is, again, hold the handle of your lead, walk backwards, so walk face to face with them and feed them in front of you initially. So just get them following you, because all this is now is this is her following me, and that's actually all that heel is it's follow me. It's just from a different position. It's from a side position instead of a front position. So right now I'm teaching a good girl to follow me. So every time I turn and move, look, she's turning and moving with me. Good girl. Good. And then I'm going to feed her for it. Good girl. And then once you get this, you flip them back round to your side, and now we are in heel. That's the exact process that I go through with every single dog that I train. Now the big question is, how long do you do this for? How long do you stay in an area like this for? So what I'm going to talk to you about now are the specific things that you're looking for when you're doing this training. So the first thing that you're looking for is that when you turn and move, the dog turns and moves with you. So if I move towards this here and then I turn and move and she turns with me, I'll reward her for that, and that's fantastic. I want to keep seeing her do that. So every single time she does that, I'm going to reward her for it. So here, if I turn and move, she's turned with me, great. And again, I'm going to turn and move and she's done it again, yes. So I'm going to keep rewarding her for turning with me and moving with me. If at any point I turn and she doesn't move with me, that was a bit slow, I'll just give her a little bit of pressure on the lead. Now, in terms of leads and what lead should you use and all that kind of stuff, just use whatever you're comfortable with. You can do this on a slip lead like I am. You can do this on a prong collar if you use one of those. You can do this on a harness if you use one of those, or you can do it on a flat collar. It doesn't really matter. You might find dogs are responding to different things slightly differently. Some things might speed up your process, some things might slow down your process, but whatever you're comfortable with and whatever your dog's comfortable with, just use that. So the second thing that you want to see your dog doing is, as you're walking, you would like to see that they stop when you stop. Now this one's a little bit more tricky to teach, because usually what happens is if I walk, she's followed me there, that's good. If I walk forwards and stop, oh, she's done it perfectly well. But often what happens is you stop and the dog continues moving forwards. So for that, what you have to do is you have to give them a little bit more of a prompt to stop, where you will add a little bit of backward pressure just a split second before you stop. So just not waiting for you to stop and then do it. You have to kind of do it first. That's what teaches them to stop with you. So if I wanted her to stop with me now, if she wasn't stopping with me very well, I would stop her first, and then I would stop, and then I would reward, and then I'd go again. Good girl. Come on, Baba. So just to show you a bit closer, I would stop her first, then I would stop, then I would go again. So now I'm expecting that when I stop, she's going to stop with me. Yes. And that's how you would teach her to stop with you. So 3 things that you want your dog to do before you're progressing to the next stage are, you want them to be, 1, turning with you. So when you turn, they should turn with you. Make sure you've rewarded them heavily for doing that, and you're trying to create as many scenarios where you prompt them to do that on their own rather than you cueing them on the lead. So just walking in any direction and then just randomly deciding to turn to see if they follow you, and maybe doing it twice in a row before you reward. So you start withholding reward a little bit, make it a little bit more challenging, make the dog work for it a little bit more. The second thing you want them to start doing is stopping with you. So this is where you'll be walking in sort of nice lines, big straight lines, big paces, and then you'll just randomly stop, and they should stop with you. That's really good. And then you'd walk this way, and then maybe you throw a turn in, good girl, and then you throw another turn in, good girl, and then you stop. Oh, there we go, she's on it. So that kind of stuff. So you really want to see her stopping with you. And then the third thing is that they are matching your pace. So just in general, you want to see that they're matching your pace. So a good one for that is going to be walking in a straight line and walking maybe slightly faster. And then I'm going to turn, she's turned with me, and then I'm going to walk really slowly. Yes, walk really slowly, good girl. And if she's not following, that's fine. Good. Yes, walk really fast, walk really slow. Does the dog pay attention? Are they paying attention to your pace? Are they paying attention to your direction, and are they just paying attention to where you are in relation to them on the end of the lead? If you're seeing that in a place like this that is really, really boring, you are ready to progress to somewhere a little bit more challenging. So what I would do, the natural progression would be to go from this place to maybe walking down my road or walking around the little village that I work in at a specific time of day that I know is not going to be too busy. Like I say, she's a reactive dog, so at this point I don't want to see too many dogs, and we don't want to put her in that position. But I'm very confident now, just from this little session that we've just done, and also the session that I did yesterday, that we're kind of there now. I wanted to show you guys this session. So that's where you want to get to. You want to see that in your very boring environment, in your car park type environment, your dog is doing those 3 things with you. Then you're ready to progress. And when you progress, don't expect them to do it to the same standard, to the same quality that they were doing it at in the place before. You almost have to start again from scratch, as if you were starting the process again. It won't be the same though, because you will see it sort of twig in the dog's brain, and they will start to get it very quickly, and you'll be able to progress through the stages much quicker in that new environment. But every time you add new stuff in, go back to the start again, just so you can make sure the dog really understands what they're supposed to be doing. And then the ideal amount of time to be teaching a dog anything new is going to be between 10 and 15 minutes. So that's absolutely anything. So whenever I'm teaching a dog something new like this whole concept of walking on a lead nice and loose, I'm spending 10 to 15 minutes with her doing it. I'm going to try and get in as many rewards as I possibly can, and I'm going to try and end on a high. So I'm going to try and end on a positive repetition, and then she's going back in the van and we're going to go home, and she's going to rest, and we're going to do this probably again later on today. So as many times as you can do it a day, but only 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to keep you guys updated on Olive. We're actually going to go to a busier environment in my next video. So in my next video, we're going to be doing this same process, but we are going to be doing it in a slightly busier environment. And hopefully what we're going to do is we're going to build this up to being in a really busy environment with lots of dogs, lots of people. And we're kind of going to do this together with Olive, so you can see how I progress her through the stages and where we're going to get her to through doing that. So hopefully if you guys follow along, you should hopefully be getting there too with your dogs. So as always, I really hope that this video has been helpful to you. Please do leave me a comment in the comment section below, especially if you're having any problems or issues with your dog. Let me know. I'll see if I can help you. Subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with all my newest videos, and I will see you guys soon.